Here's the game changer. This is the technique that separates people who enjoy tamarillos from people who think they taste terrible. Chefs call this technique blanching, but what we're actually doing is releasing the skin. It's incredibly simple and it works every single time. Fill a pot with water and bring it to a rolling boil. While it's heating, take your tamarillos and cut a small X shape into the bottom of each fruit. Just a tiny cross. You're not cutting deep, just enough to mark the skin. Once your water is at a full boil, carefully drop the tamarillos in. Here's the key detail. Leave them in the boiling water for exactly 3 minutes. Not more, not less. 3 minutes. This weakens the skin without cooking the fruit inside. After 3 minutes, grab them with a slotted spoon and immediately plunge them into ice water. This stops the cooking process instantly. Now watch what happens. The thick, bitter skin that seemed impossible to remove will slide off your hands like a silk jacket. It practically falls away. What you're left with is a perfect sphere of vibrant, soft fruit. No bitterness, just the tangy, savory, incredible flavor that was hidden underneath. That's the red gold. That's what they were celebrating in the 1940s. That's what the industry wanted you to forget. Once you've peeled them, your options are endless. Mash the flesh with a little salt, chili, and onion, and you've created a survival sauce that beats any store-bought salsa. It lasts longer, it tastes better, it's fresher. Or slice it raw onto toast. Eat it with a spoon right out of the skin. Use it in any recipe where you'd normally use a tomato. The fruit is incredibly versatile once you understand this one simple. Let me break down why the tamarillo is an absolute game changer. This is where the real story becomes obvious. Adam Grove here at Backyard Crops wants to show you the actual numbers because numbers don't lie. Consider the standard tomato plant you find at every garden center. It's an annual plant, which means it lives for one season and then it dies. To grow it, you need perfect soil conditions. You need constant watering. You need fertilizer, expensive fertilizer. After months of care, your average tomato plant gives you 30 pounds of fruit, maybe 40 if you're lucky. Then September comes. A hard frost arrives. The plant turns to mush. You harvest what you can and throw the rest away. To grow food again next year, you need to buy new seeds. You need to buy new soil amendments. You need to buy new fertilizer. You start from zero every single year. You're on a hamster wheel, and the seed companies are controlling the speed. Now let's look at the tamarillo. This is a perennial plant, a tree that's semi-woody and built to last. It grows fast, reaching full height in about 18 months. Once it's established, that tree produces around 150 pounds of fruit every single year. And here's the critical part. It does that for 20 straight years. Let's do the math together. A standard tomato plant, 30 pounds of yield. Then death. One tamarillo tree, 30 pounds in year 1, 30 pounds in year 2, 30 pounds in year 3. This continues for 2 decades. Total yield? 3,000 pounds from a single plant. That's 100 times more food from the same amount of effort. Or actually way less effort because the tree requires minimal maintenance once established. But it's not just about the total weight. It's about when that food arrives. Standard tomatoes dump all their fruit on you in August when everything else in your garden is already ripe. Then what? You've got nothing in January. You're stuck buying expensive, flavorless supermarket tomatoes. The tamarillo operates on a completely different schedule. In warmer regions, this tree holds its fruit and ripens it late in the season. We're talking December and January, the dead months when your garden looks barren and brown. That's when the tamarillo delivers fresh, vitamin-rich food. If you care about food security, this timing alone makes the tamarillo a complete game changer. If this is resonating with you, please hit the like button below and subscribe to Backyard Crops. We release new strategies for food independence every single week, and you don't want to miss them. To understand why the tamarillo disappeared, you need to understand how the agricultural industry works. It's not complicated. It's actually pretty straightforward. And it's not about quality or nutrition. It's about control and profit. The tamarillo originated in the Andes Mountains of South America. Ancient farmers in that region engineered this plant over centuries. They bred it specifically to thrive in poor soil and at high altitudes. It was designed by genius agronomists thousands of years ago to require almost nothing from you. Then, It arrived in North America in the early 20th century. In the 1920s and 1930s, the tamarillo was everywhere. Agricultural extension offices across the United States promoted it actively. They taught people how to grow it, they shared recipes, they explained its benefits. Then came World War II, and suddenly, food became scarce. The Victory Garden movement exploded. People needed to feed their families while soldiers were overseas. The tamarillo became a hero crop. Why? Because one tree could feed a family. One tree could feed half the neighborhood. It produced calories with almost zero inputs. It was the perfect crop for hard times. But the war ended, and everything shifted. The 1950s arrived, and America had a new mission: consumerism. The era of self-sufficiency was over. The era of spending money was just beginning. The chemical companies needed to sell fertilizers, tons of them. The seed companies needed to sell seed packets every spring. They needed customers to stay dependent. A tree that lives for 20 years and produces fruit without help? That's bad business. That's a customer you lose forever. At the same time, the tomato industry was exploding with new hybrid varieties. These weren't bred for taste. They were bred for shipping. They were bred for appearance. They needed to look perfect in the supermarket. They needed to survive a 1,000-mile truck ride. The wild, tangy, long-lasting tamarillo didn't fit that model. It didn't look like a cartoon character's tomato. It looked different. It tasted complex and adult. It wasn't marketable on a grocery store shelf. So the nursery stopped carrying the seeds. The magazines stopped writing about it. The agricultural extension offices stopped promoting it. Within a single generation, 20 or 30 years, a plant that was a household name became a complete ghost. They traded a 20-year asset that created independence for a 4-month disposable product that created dependence. And most people never even noticed. The plant was erased so thoroughly that even gardeners today have no idea it ever existed. Now let's talk about what you actually get when you grow a tamarillo. This is where people often make a terrible mistake. The flavor is complex. It's not the watery, overly sweet taste of a supermarket tomato, the kind that tastes like plastic wrapped around sugar. A tamarillo tastes like something adults would eat. There's tang, there's a savory depth, there's umami. If you had to describe it to someone, you'd say it's as if someone crossed a tomato with a passion fruit and a lime. It's unusual, it's sophisticated. Some people taste it and it immediately becomes their favorite. Other people taste it and think it's too strange. That's honestly fine. Flavor is subjective. But here's what's not subjective: the storage life. A regular tomato has thin skin. You barely touch it and it bruises. Leave it on your counter for more than a few days and it starts rotting. It develops soft spots. It attracts fruit flies. It becomes mold. It's basically a disaster waiting to happen. The tamarillo is built completely differently. It's built like armor. The skin is thick and tough. That thickness serves a purpose. It's a natural vacuum seal. Insects cannot penetrate it. Bacteria cannot penetrate it. This means you can harvest a full basket of tamarillos in December, put them in a cardboard box in a cool room, and they'll still be fresh in April. We're talking 6 months of storage with zero special equipment. No canning, no freezing, no dehydration, no electricity, just a cool space and a box. Think about that for survival purposes. Think about what that means for food security. You've got fresh fruit available when you need it most. But there's a major catch that trips up most new growers. If you don't know the secret to dealing with that thick skin, you'll take one bite and hate it. The skin is bitter. The skin is tough. Most people don't peel it properly, so they eat the bitter skin along with the fruit. They get a horrible experience and they cut the tree down. That's a tragedy because they're one technique away from unlocking the best fruit they'll ever taste. Here's the game changer. This is the technique that separates people who enjoy tamarillos from people who think they taste terrible. Chefs call this technique blanching, but what we're actually doing is releasing the skin. It's incredibly simple and it works every single time. Fill a pot with water and bring it to a rolling boil. While it's heating, take your tamarillos and cut a small X shape into the bottom of each fruit. Just a tiny cross. You're not cutting deep, just enough to mark the skin. Once your water is at a full boil, carefully drop the tamarillos in. Here's the key detail. Leave them in the boiling water for exactly 3 minutes. Not more, not less. 3 minutes. This weakens the skin without cooking the fruit inside. After 3 minutes, grab them with a slotted spoon and immediately plunge them into ice water. This stops the cooking process instantly. Now watch what happens. The thick, bitter skin that seemed impossible to remove will slide off your hands like a silk jacket. It practically falls away. What you're left with is a perfect sphere of vibrant, soft fruit. No bitterness, just the tangy, savory, incredible flavor that was hidden underneath. That's the red gold. That's what they were celebrating in the 1940s. That's what the industry wanted you to forget. Once you've peeled them, your options are endless. Mash the flesh with a little salt, chili, and onion, and you've created a survival sauce that beats any store-bought salsa. It lasts longer, it tastes better, it's fresher. Or slice it raw onto toast. Eat it with a spoon right out of the skin. Use it in any recipe where you'd normally use a tomato. The fruit is incredibly versatile once you understand this one simple technique. The tamarillo is a subtropical plant. It thrives in USDA hardiness zones 9 through 11. If you live somewhere warm, Florida, Southern California, parts of the Southwest, you can plant this tree directly in the ground. It'll sink roots. It'll become a permanent tree. It'll feed you for decades. But if you live in colder climates, don't worry. This tree adapts beautifully to container growing. You can keep it in a large pot during the warm months, letting it sit in full sunlight outside, and then before the first frost arrives, you simply bring it indoors. Inside, it becomes a beautiful houseplant. It grows, it flowers, it produces fruit, and it provides fresh food all winter while your outdoor garden is sleeping. This flexibility is part of what makes a tamarillo so powerful. Whether you're in a hot climate or a cold climate, whether you have land or just a patio, you can grow this plant. This is the moment where you choose. You can keep renting your garden from the seed companies. You can keep buying new packets every spring. You can keep doing the same exhausting work year after year. Or you can plant something different. When you plant a standard tomato, you're planting temporary food. You're planting a snack that lasts 4 months. When you plant a tamarillo, you're building an asset. You're creating something that will feed you. It'll feed your children. It'll feed your grandchildren. That's not just gardening, that's legacy building. The tamarillo is your exit from the cycle. It's your proof that there's another way. There's a system that doesn't require you to stay dependent. There's a plant that rewards you for being smart instead of punishing you for trying to be independent. I'm Adam Grove with Backyard Crops, and we're here to help you reclaim your food security one plant at a time. If you're ready to break free from the seed company cycle, if you're ready to plant something that actually lasts, please hit the like button. Share this video with someone who cares about real food. Subscribe to Backyard Crops because we release new strategies for self-sufficiency every single week. Leave a comment below and tell me, would you plant a tree that feeds you for 20 years, or would you stick with the annual treadmill? Your answer matters. Remember this, knowledge isn't actually lost. It's simply waiting for you to remember it. The tamarillo was never gone. It was just hidden. Now you know where to find it.